Chapter 1: The Silence. In the small, picturesque town of Elmswood, nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, there was a silence that hung in the air, almost tangible. The townspeople went about their daily routines with a sense of quiet contentment, their lives untouched by the chaos of the outside world. Among them lived a young woman named Eliza, whose life was as unassuming as the town itself. Eliza was a librarian, her days filled with the rustle of pages and the soft murmurs of patrons. She loved the quiet, finding solace in the company of books and the stories they held. Yet, despite her peaceful existence, there was a yearning within her, a desire for something more profound, a connection that transcended the mundane. Every evening, Eliza would walk to the edge of town, where a solitary oak tree stood atop a gentle hill. There, she would sit and gaze at the stars, feeling an inexplicable pull towards the heavens. She often wondered about God, about the divine presence she had heard of in sermons and read about in sacred texts. She longed to communicate with His presence, to feel a sense of connection and understanding. Chapter 2: The First Whisper. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a deep shade of indigo, Eliza felt an unusual stillness. The air was thick with anticipation, and she sensed that something extraordinary was about to happen. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, focusing her thoughts on the divine. "God," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "If you can hear me, please give me a sign. I want to know you, to feel your presence." For a moment, there was nothing but silence. Then she felt a gentle breeze caress her face, and in the rustling of the leaves, she heard a soft whisper, like a distant echo. "Eliza." Her eyes flew open and she looked around, but there was no one in sight. Her heart raced as she realized that the whisper had not come from outside, but from within. It was as if the very essence of the universe had spoken to her. "Eliza," the whisper came again, more distinct this time. "Seek and you shall find." Tears welled up in her eyes as a sense of peace and joy washed over her. She knew without a doubt that she had just experienced something divine. She felt a connection, a thread that linked her to something greater than herself. Chapter 3: The Search. From that night on, Eliza's life changed. She devoted herself to understanding the whisper she had heard, seeking out knowledge and wisdom from every source available. She read sacred texts from various religions, attended different places of worship, and engaged in deep conversations with spiritual leaders and seekers alike. Her journey led her to a diverse array of beliefs and practices. She learned about the meditative practices of Buddhism, the prayers of Christianity, the rituals of Hinduism, and the mysticism of Sufism. Each tradition offered her a unique perspective on the divine, and she embraced them all, weaving them into her own understanding. Yet, despite the wealth of knowledge she gained, the whispers remained elusive. They came sporadically, often when she least expected them. Sometimes they offered comfort, other times guidance, but they always left her with a sense of wonder and a desire for more. Chapter 4: The Revelation. One crisp autumn day, Eliza decided to visit the ancient forest that bordered Elmswood. She had heard stories of its mystical properties and felt drawn to explore its depths. As she walked among the towering trees, she felt a profound sense of reverence for the natural world. In a small clearing, she found a secluded spot and sat down, closing her eyes and allowing herself to be enveloped by the sounds of the forest. She began to meditate, focusing her thoughts on the divine presence she had come to know. "God," she whispered, "I am here. Speak to me, guide me." The forest grew still, and she felt a familiar breeze. This time, the whisper was not a single word, but a cascade of thoughts and images that filled her mind. She saw visions of people from different walks of life, each one connected by a thread of divine love and compassion. She felt the presence of something infinitely greater than herself, a presence that was both within and around her. "Eliza," the whisper said, "the divine is not confined to any one place or tradition. It is in the breath you take, the love you give, and the compassion you show. It is in the silence and the noise, the light and the darkness. Seek not with your eyes, but with your heart, and you will find me everywhere." Tears streamed down her face as she absorbed the revelation. She understood now that the divine was not something to be found in a distant place or through specific rituals, but in the very fabric of existence. It was in her interactions with others, in the beauty of nature, and in the quiet moments of reflection. Chapter 5: The Connection. With this newfound understanding, Eliza returned to Elmswood with a sense of purpose. She continued her work at the library, but her interactions with the townspeople took on a deeper significance. She saw each person as a manifestation of the divine, deserving of love and respect. She started a small meditation group, inviting people of all faiths and backgrounds to come together and share their experiences. The group became a place of healing and connection, where individuals could explore their spirituality in an open and accepting environment. Eliza also began to write about her journey, sharing her insights and experiences with a wider audience. Her words resonated with many, inspiring others to seek their own connection with the divine. Chapter 6: The Legacy. Years passed and Eliza's influence grew. The small meditation group blossomed into a vibrant community, and her writings touched the hearts of countless individuals around the world. She became known as a spiritual guide, helping others navigate their own paths to the divine. One evening, as she sat beneath the old oak tree on the hill, she reflected on her journey. She realized that the whispers she had heard were not just the voice of God, but the voice of her own soul, guiding her towards a deeper understanding of herself and the world around her. In the twilight, she closed her eyes and whispered a prayer of gratitude. The breeze picked up, and she heard the familiar whisper once more. "Eliza, you have found the divine within yourself and in the world around you. Continue to share this light, for in doing so, you help others find their own connection to the divine." With a heart full of love and a soul at peace, Eliza smiled. She knew that her journey was far from over, but she was ready for whatever lay ahead. She had found her connection to the divine, and in that connection she had found herself. Chapter 7: The Eternal Whisper. Eliza's legacy continued to grow long after she had passed from the earthly realm. The community she had built in Elmswood thrived, becoming a beacon of spiritual exploration and acceptance. Her writings were compiled into a book, The Whisper of the Divine, which became a cherished guide for seekers worldwide. The oak tree on the hill became a place of pilgrimage for those who had been touched by her story. People from all corners of the globe came to sit beneath its branches, hoping to hear their own whispers and find their connection to the divine. Among the visitors was a young man named Daniel, who had been struggling with his faith. He had read Eliza's book and felt a spark of hope. As he sat beneath the oak tree, he closed his eyes and whispered a prayer. "God, if you can hear me, please give me a sign." In the stillness, he felt a gentle breeze and heard a soft whisper, "Daniel." His heart swelled with emotion as he realized that he was part of the same divine thread that had connected Eliza to the universe. He felt a profound sense of peace and understanding, knowing that the divine was always with him. And so the whisper of the divine continued, passing from soul to soul, a timeless connection that transcended the boundaries of time and space. Eliza's journey had shown that the divine was not a distant entity, but an ever-present force, accessible to all who sought it with an open heart. In the quiet moments of life, when the noise of the world faded away, the whisper of the divine could be heard, a reminder of the infinite love and wisdom that resides within and around us all.